Now, before we begin our podcast today as a family, we would like to send our deepest condolences to the family and close friends of young Australian Leon Hampson, who died tragically in Barcelona last week. We're thinking of you guys. Thoughts and prayers.
Better than Lego. Better than Lego.
Matthew Johns is in position for a long-range shot. He's with it now, Matthew Johns. Here goes the kick from Johns.
Welcome to the Johns Family Podcast, people. Our second last show for 2022. Why is our second last show? Why aren't we going through to Christmas? Well, simply because we're running out of ideas. Family, how are you all? Keeping well, Patricia?
Wunderbar, thank you.
Sorry?
Wunderbar.
Sorry, do you want to...
Wunderbar. Isn't that wonderful in German? Wunderbar.
Well,
can we Google that?
Well,
it sounds something like that.
For all our
works.
German listeners, please get in touch and give us some feedback. Hey, Coops, how you going, brother?
Good, Big M, how are you?
I'm strong. Jack, Johns, all the way from Newcastle via satellite. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Good via satellite.
Now, today's theme is 2022, the year 2022. What a bastard of a year it's been for film and music. I just had a look, and there's no doubt it's because of the COVID hangover. The world was, as we all know, don't have to repeat it again, put on hold.
Bits and bobs. There were some highlights.
Yeah, well, that's your opinion, buddy. Family, as I introduce you, if you were a garden tool, which would you be and why would you, Trish?
I'd be a shovel.
Wunderbar.
Because I dig holes, I shovel shit, and I clock someone over the head if I need to.
Yeah, right, okay. You
Handy tool, I say.
You do shovel shit a lot. What about
I
you,
do
Coops?
shovel a lot of shit.
Do you shovel, so if Charlie does a poo in the back, do you shovel it?
No, I get
Okay.
a plastic bag, turn it inside out, collect it.
I remember you guys used to ask me to get the shit off, and what I used to do is I used to get the shovel and I'd pick it up and I'd just throw it in the garden at our old house.
I think I saw you doing that.
It's biodegradable, so it's fine.
That's what I would have thought. Do you still do that?
No, I put it in the garbage bin.
Oh, okay.
I don't want the smell lingering.
Or like the cat shit, we just put it in a bag and just throw it.
Just feed it to...
Randomly?
Throw it out on the street. Jack, what about you, mate?
Mate, I've gone with the scythe.
Ooh.
Mainly because it's used to cut long grass and it's associated with a dark, disturbing figure.
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry, I don't know what a
Yeah,
scythe
neither.
is.
Do you?
It's like what the Grim Reaper holds.
yeah.
Does it have another name?
Is that a garden tool?
It is. It's used to cut long grass. That's where it comes from.
Doesn't that have another name?
Bit like yourself, Coop.
Yeah. Well, it's the old...
It's a
I
crescent-shaped.
don't cut grass, man.
yes, it is.
Big knife.
The
So
Grim,
it's like a machete.
the
but
Grim
it's-
Reaper. It's his garden tool of
But I
choice.
thought that was called a different thing.
That's how they should sell it.
Yeah.
At wherever at Bunnings Warehouse. The scythe. The Grim Reaper's garden tool of choice.
That's good, Coops. It's very
You're
good.
welcome.
Now, talking about good old-fashioned grass cutters, what about you, Jack? Sorry, Cooper.
No, you're right. It is Jack. Jack is a grass cutter. Keep your hands off a Jack. Hedge trimmer, I actually had. Just thought pretty useful sort of tool. And I'm someone that likes to shave his Rubik's Cubes.
You do.
Yeah.
So it's a motor.
Don't worry, the big bloke-
Sorry. How do you know?
Because I bought you that tool, I believe.
Okay, but how do you know that I like to shave?
Well,
my
put it this way. We just walked in. You're in the shower before after having taken a dump in our toilet. And, we got a fair idea. Yeah.
I was wearing Speedos, mate. I always shower in my job.
You do not shower in your Speedos. And if you do, I'll disown you. I've gone the stand-up weed puller.
The stand-up.
I've always wanted to say it in the podcast, stand-up weed puller. Extremely effective, but underutilised. Boys.
So, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Do you know what a stand-up weed puller is, Cooper?
Yes, we do, mate.
Oh, as if you do.
I do.
yeah,
we
I
do.
do.
What is it?
What it is, rather than bend down and get the weeds, you actually stand up and just pull them out. Now, family...
You've made that up.
No, I didn't. Mate, jump on the Bunnings website. We'll just go for a little drive to Bunnings, my favourite place, and I will show you a stand-up weed puller.
Cobber, quick question. Where's the closest Bunnings to where we live? Go.
It is.
You'll know because-
it's up at Narrabeen.
Yeah.
It's across the road from Devitt's Meats.
Yeah.
Mate, listen, I'm not that big a dope, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
He
let's
drives past it a lot, let's tell him.
family. How we going? Particularly you, stand-up dick puller. How you going, Coops?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm very well, thanks, actually. That's a good name. Let me just write that
Stand-up
one.
dick. Jot it down.
Just going to jot that one down.
The SUDP. The SUDP, we'll call you.
Puller.
Yep. Jack, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Is it okay to ask you something? Because a lot of people ask that. I didn't want to make it a rhetorical question. Jack, can I ask you something? The Arctic Monkeys' latest album, you said it continues down a path away from their best work. It's funny, a lot of the reviews I'm reading are wrapping it up. I don't know whether it's critics trying to be the arty, clever types, the more cerebral types, but he came out, the lead singer, which I forget his name at the moment. Alex Turner. Hello to the Turners. And he said that it's a push back towards the AM album. Now, have you had a second listen?
Yeah, well, it's only come out like 2 days ago, Cobber. So all we had before that was just like one of the singles released. Yeah, I don't mind it, actually. It's there's a couple good songs on it. There's one called Hello There that I quite like.
Hello again.
No, it's not Lionel Richie or Adele. But
or Neil Diamond.
I watched him do he did an interview the other day on X Radio, I think it was, in the UK, and he was discussing how like their whole plan before they went touring and started this album last year, their whole plan was to go ahead and do another rock album, and then by the time they finished, they sort of got to the studio, they all just didn't really feel like doing it. They didn't really, not that they didn't have the energy. I think he sort of spoke about how they didn't really feel like that's what they should do, and then but he did go on to say there are a few elements of this album, and you can hear a few here and there in a couple songs of where they sort of dip back into it, but not too much. No.
So they feel like I can understand that they feel like they've moved down a path and don't want to take a step backwards.
It's different. Like I wouldn't say it's something they've done before. Like I'd say it's different from the last album, the Tranquility-based Hotel and Casino, and then it's a lot different from AM, but. Yeah, I actually don't mind it at the moment. I've been listening to it a fair bit the last 2 days. So,
have you got a song that we can listen to?
Yeah,
I actually
Hello There's the song that I like.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you haven't obviously listened to it, Matt?
Oh, no, Hello You, sorry, Kurt.
Hello You. And hello you, too.
You haven't listened to it?
No. Now, talking about things and taking a step backwards, holy dooly, we finished Dharma, Cooper. I tell you what, look, I draw the line at eating people. I don't know about you, but man, I'll say this.
So you draw the line as in
eating people. Yeah.
Everything before that is okay?
Eating people, that's a step too far. Jeff, pull your head in. Look, I said to you blokes before, right, when you were here, Jack, watching this, in the whole Dharma thing, it's pretty harrowing. But the start of the 10th episode, they show what John Wayne Gacy used to do, the clown killer. It is... Would you agree with me? It is. It takes a lot to beat cannibalism, but I tell you what, it's pretty harrowing.
Yeah, he's a genuinely, not saying Dharma's not a bad dude, but when it's in the series, you like the way he cooperated and everything. Like you're kind of like, well, he's obviously just got a lot of problems. Like
yes.
Whereas John Wayne Gacy doesn't have any problems. I think he's just a really genuinely evil dude. He's like. Got like a lot of pleasure out of like torturing and
it's worse too when they talk about when they do the they did the autopsy and because he was killed they checked his brain to see if there were issues with Wayne Gacy's brain. They said no, it was perfectly healthy brain, no issues. So
okay, I've got a little issue.
Okay.
So you're saying Dharma drilling into someone's brain and pouring acid into it is okay?
Sure.
But okay, yeah, no, that's not. I'm not saying it's.
I never thought I'd be defending Jeffrey Dahmer.
No,
okay?
I'm not. Let me just make this clear on the podcast. I am not defending Jeffrey Dahmer, but I'm saying he didn't like. Well, this is what it accounts in the TV series. It sort of says that he didn't enjoy making people like painful. That's why he drugged them and then. Like they wouldn't go through pain, in a sense.
Where the other guy, in comparison to John Wayne Gacy, he was worse than Dahmer.
I think what they're both trying to say is, and he's really struggling. If I was
going to get killed, if I was going to get killed, I'd rather get killed by Jeffrey Dahmer because I wouldn't. It's not. I'm getting tortured.
Okay, what were you going to say, Jack?
Yeah. I think you're just saying, like, because it's evil, like, watching the Dharma series is completely evil. And then when you get to episode 10, it's like the evilness goes up a gear when you see John Wayne Gacy, that sort of clip.
Yeah.
The clown, too. I can understand now why people have clown phobias.
Yeah. Do you think,
those clowns.
that Dharma... I don't think that Dharma probably drugged them out of compassion so they didn't feel any pain, I think that he probably drugged them
As a tool.
so that they were more compliant and he could control them.
Trish, our week. I tell you what, we want to do something special on Saturday, just something out of the box. God, it's hard to get into a day spa.
Yeah.
I get up to Coop, I said, Coop, let's do something totally different. Let's go to a health spa for the day, have a sauna, have a massage and a facial. And Coop went, I'm in. Bugger me, we couldn't get anywhere.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
You're not taking your wife to a day spa. You're taking your son to a day spa. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah.
Pretty sure I was right.
I know it
to say.
sounds a little creepy, but people, it was... Yeah.
Well, he rings me at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning to see about booking in somewhere that day. It's never going to happen.
Were you invited, Trish?
Well, he didn't include me, but apparently when the invite came out, since I guess I was meant to organise it, yes, I was.
Well, no, Jack, what it is, when you have a massage and
Invited?
that, you feel a little woozy. We need someone to drive home. So,
What's this massage parlour called?
I think it's called, might have been called Kittens. Last night was the T20, India versus Pakistan, which is, in cricket, it's more than just a game of cricket. I reckon one of the greatest games of cricket I've ever seen. India, little chance of winning. I think it was 35 in the last 2 overs. Over 90,000 people there at the MCG, and the legend Virat Kohli come in and just one of the greatest innings I've seen. They're saying it's the greatest T20 match of all time. I totally agree. So I don't know where this is going. I just wanted to make comment on that. Trish, I believe you ran into a fan the other day.
Yeah, on the weekend, I had a young bloke come up to me and say, "Oh, hey, Trish, I listened to the podcast." His name was Alex. And his mate. I was like, "Oh, hey, how you going?" Da, 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 da.
How old are these two, by the way?
Oh, probably about 13, 14.
Oh,
Maybe.
13 and 14.
I think so. About that, around that, 13 to 15, I guess. You know. And
We really
so-
don't know our demographic, do we?
Oh, we're very widespread. And so I was at the mall, and I was like, and he had his arm all strapped up. I was like, "Oh, what have you done to yourself?" And he said, "Oh," and it was really coy. And I was like, "Oh," and he goes, "Oh, I've hurt my wrist wanking."
No, he did not.
He did. I swear to you, and it makes me a little concerned about our
There's only one
demographic
reason
and who we're attracting.
He's told that to you. It's probably because we talk about masturbation.
I think so.
Masturbation so
You know-
much on this podcast.
I think so, and you know, it's nice that he felt comfortable saying that to me.
Something
but-
very similar happened to me. I was up at Ringa Mall, and a bloke came up to me, 18 to 22, and he said, "Love the podcast." He said, "My favourite is your mum." I said,
Your mum?
sorry, that's it's my wife, Trish.
you just
anyway,
made that up, you
he had
liar.
he had his fingers in a splint. And I'm like, "Well, what'd you do there, mate?" He said, "Oh, I was wanking." And he goes, "I was fingering my anus at the same time, dislocated it." And I said, "Mate,
Sneezed.
you sick bastard, give me 5, you mother."
Oh my god.
What else been going on, Trish?
Well, I told young Alex that he might want to do a YouTube review because I'm not sure that he's doing it right. If he's injuring himself.
Oh, hang on. When
Of
did you
wanking?
when did you become an expert, guys?
I don't know.
What is the? I'm not going to go. I was going to. You're
You're in a very weird mood today, Matthew.
I know.
I like it.
Yeah,
I've been
just
taking
watch
acid.
yourself.
Acid.
Acid.
Guys, best comedy of 2022.
I went Jackass. Yeah,
I'm
I
with
went
you, Coop. I did the
yeah.
same thing.
I did the same thing as well.
Oh, boss. Thanks, boys. Good to have your support. Very good. It's not, in comparison to the other Jackasses, not their best one, but I think they did the best with, and it sort of touches on COVID during, they've had to film it during COVID times and stuff. They've done a very good job with it. And, yeah.
I
thought-
think it is
thought
the
it was
best
quite
one.
good. I thought it was one of their better ones.
I don't
actually.
think it's their best one.
I think it
it's because
is.
they're older and they're more susceptible to injury.
Couple of things.
not
'cause
very nice.
Jack said, "Oh, do you want to sit and watch this?" Oh, I've seen all the Jackass before, but mate, it was sent. The Queen Bee on the scrotum is one of the greatest things I've ever seen, apart from Virat Kohli's
Oh,
innings
is that
last night.
the dick beard?
Yes, that scrotum beard.
Oh, scrotum beard, sorry.
Yes, jeez, how disgusting. I'll tell you what, the worst comedy of 2022, Owen Wilson and J-Lo's "Marry Me."
I don't think that was a comedy.
Owen, Lord Jesus, how did you get dragged into J-Lo's world of cheeseball? I mean, the old, "I'm not just a battler like you, I'm still Jenny from the block, my ass." That was, mate, I watched 5. I thought I'll give this a go. I watched 5 minutes of it. 5 minutes.
Don't
of
lie,
it.
you watched the whole thing.
I watched 5 minutes.
You watched the
and
whole
I had
thing
to go
because you
and
watched
take
it with me.
Yeah, you
had
did
to
watch
take
the
a
whole
giant shit. It was so bad. So, Coop,
Well, how about me? Because
Sorry.
somewhere along the line, I missed comedy. So I actually had best biopic for 2022 as Elvis. The best sci-fi, Spiderhead.
Trish used
I'm
to
sorry.
call it Skyfire, by
I
the
did
way.
not, and we've spoken about it before. That was my friend Kath. And the best, they call it a romantic, but I don't think it was romantic, Where the Crawdads Sing.
Thanks.
Hmm.
So back to best comedy.
Where did you get it mixed up when
Well,
you
what I
the
did-
rundown?
I looked up movies as opposed to comedy
Oh, okay.
because I couldn't think of any.
There were very few comedies.
Yeah,
Well, I
there
mean, the evidence we've gone for Jackhouse Forever.
So lucky I went for different topics.
Let's keep on a roll.
Yes.
And again, pretty ordinary year. Best album of 2022. What did you go, Jack?
Mate, I went with Harry's House. The
Yeah,
Harry
me
Styles
too.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Same.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Cobber, did you go that one as well?
No, I didn't, mate. I did not go Harry's House. Although I do like some of his music, and God, he's gorgeous. But
He's gorgeous.
Yeah, he is. Is he
No.
in a movie at the moment?
He's in 2 movies at the moment. I've been meaning to go and watch it, Don't Worry, Darling. And there's another indie one I just saw advertised the other day, which I also will go and have a little watch of.
You know, I just found out yesterday. Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's-
Not a great guy.
Oh, well, I'm not sure about that. That's
So
not
it's
about that.
throwing stones.
Well, he's,
don't put him in the same as Jeffrey Dahmer and John Wayne Gacy.
Is it true? His partner, he was with
Olivia
Olivia
Wilde.
Wilde. She
They're married with
no,
a couple of
I
kids.
don't think anymore.
Oh, no, they're not.
She went to Harry Styles.
Yeah, but I think
What?
they've broken up. But the thing is, she was doing a presentation or a speech at some event and he had her served with papers during the event, which is pretty stupid.
But
You
I
can't-
think she cheated on
ca-
him with Harry Styles.
Oh, I don't know that that's true.
Well, so if
I think they were broken up and now she's
Ga-
with Harry Styles and he
Gav's-
doesn't like it.
Gav's across this. He
Yeah, it was after.
it was after.
Yeah.
Yep, thanks,
Because
Gav.
she
Fair
directed
fight.
Damn
Don't
it.
Worry, Darling. And that's how they met while she was directing it.
I just love drama. God damn it,
Don't
Dharma.
listen
Not
to
Dharma.
rumour.
I didn't say Dharma. I said drama. I just said everyone.
I doubt he intentionally wanted her to get served on the stage. I'd say you can't
Oh,
ask where you can't. I don't think you can dictate where someone gets served.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, well,
It's the
person
I'm
who
pretty
served.
sure it did. No, it's pretty ugly, apparently.
Um,
It's pretty ugly,
well,
of course.
divorce is
Apparently.
ugly. Divorce is ugly, Trish.
It is ugly.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a shame because there's children involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
And it makes
thanks
no
for-
one happy.
thanks for bringing that down a little bit. I was a
Yeah, just
punchline
move
coming,
on.
But I
Get over it and move
I
on.
found it hard to find one. I reverted to a single, Noiseworks' first single in 30 years, which is.
Jesus.
You know
Are you
what?
joking?
You
my
are
God, you
seriously.
joking.
You struggle with any year that's past
Yeah.
2010. You just hold on to all the old bands
Yeah.
that you know and whatever their new stuff is. Oh, I love this song that
Okay.
Noiseworks brought out in 2022.
Yeah.
No, you don't. I've never heard you listen
Mate,
to
2010 is
any
pretty
of these
generous.
I'd back you up on that,
Hey,
Cooper.
hold on a second. Just hold on a second. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let the people's
let-
ears speak for themselves.
Bleed.
So to say.
Yeah.
We're going to play a little bit of this at the back end
Oh, no.
of the podcast.
'Cause I'm sure-
It's
No.
John Steve, the lead single on an album which is about to drop. Hear what I said there? It's pretty cool. It's about to be released. The song is Heart and Soul. And he performed it. He performed it on our
Oh,
show on
yes,
the
he
Sunday
did come
night.
home and say
we
it was
come
very
on, and,
good.
and they went to first song in 30 years. And sometimes when people perform in the studio, you go, "Oh shit, I hope it's good," because it's hard to sit that close to someone and you're going, "Oh man, I've got to look
And
at
feign
it." It was
interest.
sensational. It was so good. He has. I think he's one of Australian and New Zealand's greatest ever
Oh,
vocalists.
he's an amazing voice.
He
He
certainly
does.
is. Trish, anything catch your eye as far as social media or big stories this week?
Yeah, a couple of things actually. Jessica Lansbury from Murder, She Wrote passed away a couple of weeks ago.
Rest in peace, old mate.
And I read a really interesting article about an interview she did. And she actually moved her family to Ireland at the peak of her career because her children were mixing with the wrong crowd in LA. And
Wrong crowd's an understatement.
yeah, just let me finish, Matthew.
Sorry, babe.
Both were getting involved in drugs, and Charles Manson was trying to recruit her daughter into his little cult. and she was losing sort of control of the situation. And apparently he was trying to do that with a lot of the Hollywood celebs' kids.
Oh, yeah.
He was targeting them. And she actually moved the entire family at risk of to her career over to Ireland for a year.
What a great woman.
Yeah.
She has.
I thought that was some great parenting.
She sort of has some Irish ideals in the way she sort of
Well,
holds herself.
I think her family has Irish.
Can you help me with this?
connections.
Because someone wrote that she was murdered. Murder, she wrote.
Rest easy, old mate.
You are an idiot.
Take it easy, Jessica.
Idiot.
No, she's
Idiot.
mate. She is. She's
Yeah.
likable and she's believable.
Yeah, but I love that. I thought, wow, thought
Is she?
that's ultimate.
So she's
parenting.
not
It's really
alive?
good. No, she passed away just recently, at
Okay.
about 90, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
And that's
okay.
why this article came
Sometimes
out.
I struggle to know if someone's actually passed away because he always just says, "Rest in peace,
I
old
know.
mate."
I know. I get a bit confused. Oh, did they die? Did I miss that? No, but she actually did pass away, but at a great age. But I
How
just
old
thought
was
that
it?
was pretty good.
Yeah,
She was about 90.
So here's the thing: when someone dies a loved one, and someone says to you, "Oh yeah, they had a good innings," you go, "Really?" Well, if I was a cricketer and I get out at 98, I'm disappointed, right? And there's no easy
Who's
way.
to say?
It's still a tragedy.
Oh, absolutely. And there's loss, and there's,
Yeah.
you miss someone.
Tragedy.
What else you got, Trish?
And I don't know if we've mentioned this before. I didn't know if Jack had mentioned it before, but it popped up on my social media this week that Ozzy Osbourne says he gave up taking acid after a horse told him to off.
Yeah, right.
Have we spoken about that before?
Well, the horse was actually Mr. Ed. So
The
might
talking horse?
Yes. Yes.
I have heard. We've heard. I don't know whether we've talked about it or not, but I have heard it before. Jack's
Yeah.
definitely told me in some sort of capacity. Very. I think that's called a bad trip.
Ozzy's got the best stories. I love
Oh,
it.
he's-
Like
he's-
the Motley Crew by the pool snorting a colony of ants from the water
Oh.
all the way back to the colony is one of the great one-ups, I think.
It's one of the great rock and roll stories. There was one, I listened to Lorne Michaels' interview yesterday on a podcast. Lorne Michaels was the inventor of Saturday Night Live and still is the boss of Saturday Night Live. And he said, they were talking about funny things that happened. And he said once were doing a Mr. Ed impersonation, Mr. Ed had passed away and they got Chevy Chase to get on there acting
Sorry.
like
Mr. Ed,
Mr. Ed the horse.
the horse had passed away.
had
Oh.
passed away. So they brought a horse onto set, and Chevy Chase pretended they did a skit where it was like Chevy Chase did Mr. Ed's last ever interview. Anyway, before it started, Keith Richards was a guest. Keith Richards went up and grabbed the horse and just went, "Have a look at you. You're a fucking horse," and just walked off.
Wow, something about drugs and horses, apparently.
If you haven't on that sort of thing, Will Ferrell's done a skit. He does that skit where he's the dog charmer. Have you seen that? Where the dog,
So
if
good.
the dog's if your dog's not eating or it's got bowel problems, you get Will Ferrell in, and he basically by using sarcasm and negative comments, he convinces the dog to do what he wants. It's so funny.
It is.
You got to get on.
What's
YouTube
one of the
and watch
things
it.
he goes? He puts out the dog food and goes, "Oh, what's the matter? Not eating? Would you like maybe get some caviar? Hey, Mimo, you're a dog."
Well, I'm sorry. The bistro was closed, and they weren't open for reservations. So right now, I think we're just going to have to go with the nip. And if that's not good enough, there's always the fact that you're a dog.
Before we take a quick break, predicament of the week. Okay, take your pick. I'll throw this to you firstly, Jack, and then everyone else join in. See who took control. Okay, would you prefer hitting a century at the Boxing Day Test at the MCG for Australia, winning a gold medal at the Olympics, or kicking a field goal to win an NRL Grand Final? P.S. I hit the post. Jack, what do you think?
Field goal, grand final. Easily.
Coop?
Is it to win? Yeah, I got to go the field goal. Like the other two don't really apply to me because I'm not really good at that cricket or Olympics.
Well,
so.
it doesn't matter. Like what I'm giving you is the opportunity. Like let's say 100.
I mean, a
metre
gold
sprint.
medal would be cool if it's like, you know what? I'm going to go gold medal in like the 100-meter sprint. So then I'm the fastest man in the
I
world.
think
I was gonna
I
ask.
think the century of Boxing Day is like not really equivalent to winning a grand final by doing something or a gold medal. I reckon maybe is there something better than
Well,
that?
it
like
is
getting
if you're a
double
cricket
century or
fan,
something?
I guess.
Hold on. You got to understand. You are hitting a century, Boxing Day, in front of over 90,000 people and millions of people on TV, possibly tens of millions around the world.
Not about
What about
the
you
other
then?
people.
What would you rather, Cobber, if you were a cricketer or a footballer, would you rather actually kicked that field goal, which you
Hit the
missed,
post. You know what? I'll go the field goal because that means that Andrew wouldn't get all the credit for going up the short side.
Well, there we go then, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be the Matthew John stand. Anyway, that's fate. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. What about you, Trish?
Do you know what? I'm going to go the field goal as well because you're doing it for an entire team and your supporters and your club. So I like that.
Well,
That
I mean,
feel of it.
gold medal in the century is doing it for an entire country.
Yeah, but,
Yeah, but it's not-
You know what?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
I'm not really into the Olympics, and
Yeah.
nor am I into cricket.
No, not really. But
Should have
is-
seen last night. Wow.
did stop talking about it. The gold medal. I mean, a gold medal is a lot more prestigious when you're in an individual event, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
a lot
probably
of
is.
those teams ones, like
And endorsement-wise,
Relay.
probably.
yeah, like or like relays still okay. I mean more the like. There's a lot of the obviously sevens is at the Olympics now, and I look at when like you get a sevens gold medal. It's not like even though it's the same
I know.
thing.
It's
it
not like
doesn't-
winning. It's not like winning the marathon,
Yeah.
100 meter
No,
sprint.
100 meter sprint, or like 100 meter freestyle. Like those two would be the two pinnacle ones that I'd
Okay,
win.
can I ask
You
a
are
question
right because
on that?
can I just say in those team sports, often the Olympics isn't the pinnacle of that sport.
Yeah, exactly.
At the World Championships.
Yeah, like the NBA, like when you get the basketballers going
it's
across.
That's right. There's apparently a good one on Netflix called The Redeem Team.
It's redeem. Did you say redeem there?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about our great mate Phil Bailey's new wife. Her maiden name's Redeem. Oh, I got it wrong.
Can I ask a question on that?
Go for it.
Which do you think personally is, or if you were to win an Olympic gold medal or compete in the Olympics, what event would you
100
like
meters.
to win it in?
100
100
meter
meter sprint.
Yeah, 100 meter sprint.
All of you. What do
Easily.
you think that's the most
That's the pinnacle.
prestigious?
Yeah.
Is it?
'Cause they get the
Who's Usain Bolt,
fastest
Trish?
in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. See, I would have gone swimming, a swimming event. I would have thought
That's
that.
second. Like either that, you look at Bolt and you look at Michael Phelps. They're the two most probably recognised.
Yeah, I'd go. And which event in the swimming?
100 meter freestyle.
Okay. I'd like to be,
To
the fastest,
be the
person
fastest
in the
living
water.
human being is pretty, like on land, is pretty incredible.
Felt good.
Okay.
So in
That
the
felt
eight,
good.
in the most the very core of the Olympics was track and field.
Yeah.
The pinnacle of the Olympics back in the
Originally,
ancient
yeah.
times was the marathon, but now it's the 100 meter sprint.
Too
for
long
sure.
marathon.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is
people
too
are
long.
too
It's
impatient.
like watching. People love 2020.
Yeah.
Last
How long's
night
the
was
marathon
amazing.
take?
It depends how quick you are doing it.
Hours. Like it wouldn't be more. Would it be more than 10 hours?
Hours? No. That's an ultra marathon. Fair dinkum. Living with these people.
2 hours.
2
no,
hours.
no, probably 2 hours, Gav. 4 hours. 3 hours.
Have you ever watched
Just-
it, Gav? No, because no one sits there and watches the whole thing.
I
This
watch
is my
it.
point.
You know what?
whole thing?
Have you ever watched the power walking?
Only for a little entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I love it when someone gets disqualified for bad form.
I know. Every time I see it, it just reminds me of Kel Day Night from Kath and Kim.
Yeah.
Well, one of the most unfortunate things, it was tragic for her, was I'm trying to think of her name. This is really embarrassing. 2000 Olympics. She was going up the race, about to win the gold medal, and as she was going up the race, she got disqualified. This overzealous, Jane Saville. Thanks, Gav. Jane Saville. She's going up the race, about to enter the stadium, and the guy went disqualified. And it is really
For form.
Yeah.
Yep,
Well, it's,
full
If you break into a wall.
It's one. So if you don't have 1 foot of the ground on all times, that's the rule. So if they see
Yeah.
if both feet, so it's got to be like that's why it's like that.
Oh, so if both feet are on the ground at the one time, out.
No. If both feet are in the air at one time, because when you walk, there's always a point where both feet are
Sorry?
in the air.
Yeah, like a duck. You don't see a duck. It's
Yeah.
always like you
Yeah,
know.
no, but like, sorry, when are both feet off the ground?
There's a-
You knob.
No, there
When
is.
you're jogging, Trish, that's why it's halfway between jogging and walking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
The projection.
Trisha.
Really?
But I love the.
Okay, well, I'm going to
It's
go
the
and
rule.
check that.
It's the
when,
rule.
when you watch it.
Sorry, so both feet can't be in the air at the
Yeah,
same time.
you always
Why
got
is
to
that
have
so hard to
1 foot,
process?
1 foot on the ground.
Yeah,
That's why
it
they
is.
walk and they're always pushing away from the ground. They're like that. If you can see, if you're watching on YouTube,
Yeah.
I'm using my hands are feet at
Yes,
the moment, and
like
I'm,
ducks.
they're like that.
Well, what was I going to say? When you watch the guy
Gee, that's hard.
disqualify, he actually goes, he's so overzealous that he goes, you're disqualified, and then runs to the next person. You go, like, it was almost like, in my opinion, it was, and she just broke down in tears. Imagine all that for his interpretation when she was just about to go and win the gold medal. The marathon, there's been, like, I really haven't sat, although I watched Haile Gebrselassie. He was the great,
Great name.
he was a great Ethiopian runner. He was amazing, mate. He won everything from, I think, 5,000, 10,000, then won a marathon. Only second to, there was a guy, a Swiss guy. Was he Swiss? Was he Swiss or was Swedish? Emil Zetterpeg. Zetterpeg won, I think, everything from 800 to 1,500 to 5,000, 10,000, then went, what the hell? I may as well enter myself into the marathon, won the marathon. And the tragedy was there was a Frenchman who came second in every one of those events. Mahmoud.
No.
How close, like being Buzz Aldrin. You were just
Tragedy.
that close. Anyway,
Well, disheartening.
we'll take a real quick break and back to talk about the boys' week. Welcome back to the John's Family Podcast, second last one for the year. How's your week been, boys?
Jack, why don't you tell us about your week, starters?
No, yeah, pretty low key. We're about to go into pre-season again here at the Newcastle Knights, and just been training, pretty low key. I left you on Thursday night. We went and watched me, Tex Hoy, and Matty Croker went and watched that new Black Adam with The Rock. I have a real problem with watching The Rock in movies because I find him just the same bloke in everything.
Yeah.
A little bit.
He generally plays
I
the
really
Rock.
like him, but
He's not a Meryl Streep.
No.
Well, yeah, there's a few different, muscles that are needed there for Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
I
He
think
should have been
that's-
typecast, I think.
yeah. Well, it's a bit of a problem when he's of that physique and a very specific.
But I think he's turned into almost like the, just like the sort of, like in movies, this is, just so that cringy kind of like family, family movie type.
Eddie Murphy moved that way for a fair
Eddie
while.
Murphy, yeah. Like that sort of where it's like, oh yeah, like he's like, it's child's humour almost. Like watching him in Jumanji and stuff like that. Like,
Is
Yeah.
The Rock about to enter the world of B-grade movies?
I
I think he's been there for a
I think
while.
he's in it.
I think I prefer him in television series. What was that great one that we watched
Ballers.
when he was the Ballers? Like I really liked him in that.
He was excellent.
I think that suits him better because I think it can be a more diversified role.
Young
for him.
Rock's not
What's the
really
last movie do you think he was in, like that was A-list? Think of a movie that you go, think of Academy Award or anything like
Well,
that.
I don't think he really does those style of movies.
I think he was good in A Few Good Men, I think. Oh, hang on. No, that was
What?
Jack Nicholson.
What?
What?
No, I think all of his movies, none of them are
Like,
Academy
I thought he was all
Award
right in the Fast Five, the fifth Fast and Furious, and then after that he just bled it dry.
Yeah,
Mate.
it's.
Yeah, but aren't they?
I wouldn't
amongst-
count that in an Academy Award
Yeah.
type movie.
Can't remember
But
Vin Diesel
I'd say that was
getting
like a decent movie.
I can't remember Vin Diesel being nominated. Oh, fair dinkum. I tell you what, Jack. What about Dom Young?
Oh yeah.
I mean, if that doesn't inspire you blokes at the Knights, nothing will. What a World Cup young Dom is having.
He's going good, isn't he? He's he really come into his own this year here at the club, and then last year, people keep forgetting, like he was still like 18, 19 last year, and like he had a couple games here and there, and people were going, "Oh, I don't know about him." You go, mate,
Mate.
he'd moved over here from the UK, had like half a pre-season, still getting used to the heat, and at 19 years of age was playing NRLs, and then he just came back the last off season, and he's pretty much just taken it right through to here, like now from November last year. He just hasn't stopped.
Well, Jack, I think the season just passed. I reckon your two best players were Edric Lee and Dom Young. Yeah.
Well, Eddie before that had a lot of issues in 2021. Eddie was out the entire year with a broken foot that he just kept re-breaking. So
Yeah, right.
I think he's goodbye for Redcliffe.
and he's up there
Yeah,
next
he'll
year.
be up
aren't
with
they?
his cousin Brenko. Are they cousins or brothers? Brenko?
they're cousins. They're
Cousins.
Yeah, cousins.
And of course, cousins of Paddy Mills too.
Yeah.
Cooper, what about yourself, mate? We went to the Fox League launch.
Yeah, we did. We went
Not
to the-
Fox League. Sorry, it was Foxtel,
Foxtel up
Fox
fronts.
Sports promo
Yeah,
for
it
the
was
advertisers.
Fox everything. It was very fun. It was good. Beautiful catering and everything. It was very
I was
nice.
running through trying to find you. Basically, got to try the dumplings. Couldn't
Yeah.
find you. I was in a state. I was saying to people, "Have you seen my children?" And one went, "Oh no, your kid's missing." I said, "Let's just make something."
Where are my kids?
Looked over, there you are with red wine lips cooped on.
Oh, yeah.
And
Red
when-
wine got the better of me that
Oh,
night.
where did you find them?
I don't know. Well, I'll say this. Okay, I can't remember where I found them, but I found them, took them over, said, "You got to try the dumplings." I sound like Will Ferrell there. Mama's dumplings. We had a great time. Look, Jack, we didn't have as good a time as Coop. We got home at 10:30. Coop got home at 11. The next day,
Yeah, I did. I did. I ended up falling down the rabbit hole as you do sometimes, but you end up having the best nights when it's spontaneous.
You
I went
least
there and I
expect
thought, I won't have a drink. One wine turned into 7 or 8, and then I was completely covered in red wine the next day when I came back in my suit. Mum's trying to get the stains out. Thanks, Mummy. That'll be good.
They're out.
you had all sorts of stains. Don't worry about it.
Charlie
We
stains.
put the blue light over you.
No, mate.
Please don't say that.
No,
about
that's
my
not
son.
true.
Yeah.
But another thing we did during the week, Jack.
Honestly, we had to change his bloody sheets and they've snapped.
Oh, stop it.
No, well, yeah, okay. I'm just going to stop it right there.
Yeah.
We went to Newey, Jack. I was up there with you as well, if you get to mention. And we've been playing a heap of bat ball. Anybody, the Novocastrian locals.
So is that called racquetball?
No, it's called bat ball.
Against the
Jack,
wall.
confirm?
Bat ball cobber.
Yeah.
It's not like yeah.
Well, back in the day, it was called racquetball.
What do you hit it with, boys?
A racket.
Yeah, but is it
tennis
a normal
racket.
tennis racket?
Tennis racket.
There you go. It's racquetball.
No, racquetball is with it's a short-handled.
Yeah, mate.
It's a different
Yeah.
racket
Listen.
on a squash court.
Hey, listen. Don't
We used to play it when we first started going out, remember?
Yeah,
They don't play in.
Sure, that was
Cobber,
me.
Cobber uses a smaller racket in his hand because it looks bigger.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate that. When I'm getting up in the host, no worries. Now, have I played racquetball with you?
Yeah, you have.
You sure it was me or
We used to
Luke?
go over to the uni and play it.
I saw
That
Jess.
was when you were trying to impress me, and when I'd suggest playing games, you go, "Oh yeah, sure."
Yeah, no
Now
worries.
I can't get you to do anything.
Isn't racquetball inside, though?
Yeah,
Bat ball's outside.
that's right.
Yeah,
I used
so
to play
anyway.
bat ball on the Orchard Factory wall
When you're
next door
sucking
to me.
on Orchard balls.
We had an Orchard Factory behind us and a service station beside us as I grew up. So we had all this room because it was when service stations weren't open on a weekend. So all weekend we would be playing bat ball against the Orchard Factory
You love your
wall, and then I'd be
love
getting my
it.
ice skates, not my ice skates, my roller skates on and skating through the
You're so
what do you
old.
call them?
What a life you had.
Petrol
Sucking
blouses.
on Orchie bottles and weekends.
Look at you now.
Mate. Wholesome. I was not watching television inside. That's what I'll tell you.
I asked,
Neither.
I saw Jess Yates, and first thing I raced up and said, "How's Luke going?" She said, "Going good." I said, "Trish sends her regards. Could you pass it on?" She said, "Okay."
That's
No
weird.
worries.
She would have thought. Actually, Sam had his big birthday on the weekend.
Oh,
I
did
saw.
he?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice guy, Sam.
He's a beautiful
guy.
man.
Slamming.
Yeah.
Beautiful man.
Let's-
Happy birthday, I think.
Can we stop talking? Let's
80?
stop talking about old partners. Jack, where did we go to dinner Tuesday night in Newcastle?
Nagiza.
No, the pub, mate.
Oh, the Burwood.
So we went to the Burwood, right?
The zoo.
In Newcastle. Yeah, the zoo, allegedly. And we actually fell into trivia night. The man just come over. And the dude who actually ran the trivia night, good man, he listens to the podcast. Shout out to the Burwood Mike man. And we're actually killing it in the podcast. We got down to the final two. We're in a sudden death question off with these two, not old, mid-range ladies.
13.
Mid-range. What does
yeah.
that mean?
Middle age.
Yeah, middle age.
40.
Yeah, exactly 40. A few greys, so I could tell they weren't young. And we were sitting there, and the last question that the podcast man actually said, he said, "What was Kaylan Ponga's goal kicking percentage?" As a question. Lucky to us, we were actually with Kaylan, and we had Kaylan,
Tell me.
Kaylan, Dylan Lucas, and Tex and Jackson. We went straight to Kaylan to look at him, and Kaylan said, "I haven't kicked any goals this year," and then. Turns out he actually had kicked some goals this year. So the dude said, "No, you definitely have kicked some goals." So then Kaylan was useless, didn't even know if he'd kicked any goals. Jack just went out on a limb, said 80%, which I thought was a fair rap on Kaylan, seeming as though he couldn't kick a dog in the guts. and it was 84 or 83% it ended up being.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
No, it
so
was.
did you win? Because
We ended up winning. We won a bottle of red. We ended up giving it to the girls.
Oh, that was very
yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
It's a bit unfair considering we had Kaylan with us.
Yeah, I know, but that's pretty
Not
funny.
that he offered any help.
No.
No.
Hey, Jack, could you? I've got a suggestion. If you could pass on to Kaylan, the way he kicks with his left foot, tell him to have a go with his right foot. I reckon he might be right-footed but doesn't know it. It's just so
Okay,
awkward.
mate. Sure.
That's
After
awkward.
24 years, he hasn't figured it out yet.
Well, my nickname for him is LPG because low percentage goal kicker. We'll take. Actually, before we take a break, Jack, what's your song for the week, mate?
Mate, I've gone with Fluorescent Adolescence by the Arctic Monkeys.
Love it.
For their
Love it.
because they got the new album out, so I thought we'd chuck in a classic from them.
Great film clip too.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, they're in fancy dress. People in fancy dress gear and all that stuff. Biggest event of 2022, Patricia?
I went Russian invasion of the Ukraine as far as a world event.
I did the same
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
as well.
I had that too.
How can
Same here. We've
Well,
all
but-
gone. We've all
And
done the
well,
same
fair
one.
enough, because it is the biggest event and it's relevant right now. We got that in our head.
How is this happening again? I thought this kind of invasion would never happen again. And how can, like, once again, how can one madman lead, and in some cases force his country into a conflict like this? 16 million Ukrainians have been displaced, so many killed and injured. Like, this is a tragedy. Like, thanks, Scoop, but it's an absolute tragedy for the people of Ukraine. But I tell you something, in a lot of ways, for a lot of Russians, it's a tragedy for them too, as well.
Oh, absolutely.
There's young
A lot
men
of
being
these
saddened
Russians
about
don't
that
want
don't
it.
want to be there.
No.
They're being actually told. There's people
They're
leaving the
conscripting them.
country, pouring out of the country because they've been forced to go to war.
So
how can this? How isn't he being bumped off?
I mean, they're being conscripted with no training, like lambs to the slaughter. It's terrible. I actually watched a very interesting thing. I think it was on Netflix or it might have been on Foxtel. I'm not sure. Secrets of the oligarch wives this week. It was really insightful. It was quite interesting.
The oligarchy and what happened in Russia is one of the most intriguing things in modern history.
On that point, as part of my feedback, but I'll tell you now, I saw that Rod Stewart,
Speaking about madmen,
has put up a family of 7 in Berkshire in England for a year. So he's paying,
wow.
covering all their bills so they can get on their feet and
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, displaced family. I thought that was really lovely.
What a good man. Rock and Rod. He looks like a good guy. You know he'd be a good guy.
Good heart.
Have I told the story before about Ray Martin? Told the story about Rod Stewart?
Yeah, on all the different flights of the house.
Flight?
Oh, well, levels of the house.
Rooms. Look, if I've said it before, people, I apologise, but it's a bloody good story. Ray Martin went and interviewed Rod Stewart at his property in just the outskirts of Glasgow. And he said he went there. He said, beautiful soccer field out there. And he said, Rod, where do you want to do it? And he said, how about we do it on the balcony here? So oversees in the background, we've got the soccer field. Yep, fantastic. So the cameraman set up, took him 40 minutes. As they set up, Rod Stewart goes, you know what? On second thoughts, let's go down to my recording studio. It'd be good, all the memorabilia in the background, the guitars and what. They go, oh, okay, no worries. So took it all apart, went down, 40 minutes again, set it up. They're about to start. Guys, do you know what? Sorry, let's go back upstairs. Let's do it back where we started. I think it's too dark here. Yeah, so we've taken it apart, gone up there, set it up again. Literally, as Ray Martin's doing his first question, he goes, no, this doesn't feel right. Let's go back down to the recording studio. And the cameraman goes, oh, for f***ing sake. And he goes, that's what I like about you Australians. He said, for the Americans, he said, I did this 8 times. Thanks for the laughs, guys. We'll take a break and back with your feedback. Welcome back to the Johns Family Podcast as Jack just spits out a funny, singing a bit of David Bowie. Trish, a bit of feedback for this week.
On snails, I'm getting some great new stuff. Copper tape or copper wire around the garden also stops them. They don't like it. And
Barbed wire
it doesn't
fence?
hurt them, doesn't drown them or get them drunk or anything else. And I want to say a shout out to Liam for coming around and spraying our lawn for armyworm and weeds and the winter grass.
Yep.
We're on a plan now.
Champion.
Yes.
Champion. Appreciate it, Liam.
Thank you, Liam.
Good man.
What, free?
Okay. Well, we gave him some beer.
Gave him
And
some-
the ongoing treatment will cost, but
Yeah.
it was a lovely gesture on his
and
part.
a Steel City hat as well.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Oh, look at you
How'd
go,
you get so
Cobber.
lucky, Liam?
Like
Hey.
Oprah, just handing things out.
Hey, but the funny thing was, he said he'd do it for a 6-pack, but you know how great Matt is with his negotiating. He gave him 2 cartons.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Thanks.
yeah,
Oh,
mate,
no, it shows...
No, I know.
sorry for having some heart. Cooper, okay, before we jump onto Cooper's corner, best sporting achievement, Jack, in 2022, you think?
Cobber, I went with Dylan Alcott getting the Australian of the Year for
good.
getting the Golden Grand Slam in the Golden Grand Slam, in 2021, where he won singles in the Oz Open, French Open, Wimbledon, US Open, and Summer Olympics. So
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty incredible,
Great character too.
isn't he?
yeah.
Coop.
I went the riff going back to back.
Cool.
I thought they did a good job, Penrith. They were very dominant all year, and they deserved what they got.
They
Well
did.
done.
Yeah, marvellous achievement. I've actually gone Queensland winning the State of Origin series, in particular winning that third game.
That was mine.
That third game is, we're talking about that great 2020 game, India versus Pakistan, Virat Kohli, amazing.
Yeah, they were the underdogs. That was what made it better.
But what it was the standard of the game. As I said before, I've never seen a better game of rugby league in my life. It's on par with second test, Old Trafford 1990. Well done, not just to Queensland for winning it, and Billy Slater and the boys, but also everyone who took part in the game. Fantastic.
Yeah, there were some young fellas that really stood up.
Thanks,
Breaking
Warren
moment.
Ryan.
Not that I watched the game, but I read about it afterwards.
What is she talking about?
Shush. You know I don't do it. Go on. That was it. Go on.
Okay, Coop, what placed yourself in your goat this week?
I read an article yesterday. In America, they're trying to ban children for Halloween dressing up as Jeffrey Dahmer.
Fair.
Yeah, it's probably fair.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, because they've been selling like a lot on eBay, a lot of
really?
costumes, and they took them off eBay
Yeah.
out of people being too traumatized.
Well, that's the amazing thing, Coop. People sending him fan mail.
I know.
Oh, that's sickening.
It would be scary if you seen a lot of Jeffrey Dahmers walking around.
Mate,
I mean, he was pure evil. So I don't understand why people would praise that.
2022, Trish, the low light of the year.
Okay, I'm going to stay close to home in Australia and say all the flooding and the loss
I've
through
done
all
the
the
same- I've
all
done
the
s-
floods up north.
done the
and
same
yeah,
thing.
I mean, I can't imagine what that must be like for people to
Is
lose
it your
everything.
year? Is it you personally?
Yeah, it can be either or.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, it's
Yeah.
been incredibly difficult times, and
Yeah.
as we're recording this right now, there's no
more
respite.
floods.
It just continues. Jack,
I went with infection on myself. I not sexually transmitted, the shoulder infection I had.
Yeah.
Not yet.
And then highlight was coming back and playing in round 9, and then is it just highlight, lowlight, or are we doing biggest stars?
no, we'll do
No,
biggest
no.
star after that.
Yeah. Just
God bless you, Cobber.
There's-
See who else? Cooper, you continue.
Just hold your horses, Jack. I had 2. I had Coolio dying, and I also had when Penrith flogged us and Viliami Kiko ran over me about 12 times earlier in the year.
It's not a league. It's not a small club.
No. Join the club. Thanks, guys. And then highlight, I had went to Midnight Oil in concert, and they were good at Rod Laver Arena. And the other highlight was coming back and beating Penrith later in the year.
Getting square with
Big
Billy
game.
Hammer kick out.
1-1, big fella.
I didn't give you my highlight. Can I give it to you?
Sure.
My response to that is hopefully it hasn't happened yet because there's still some more of 2022 to go. Like it?
Wow.
Very lazy.
Cut that out.
Mine is the world opening up again and us returning to 95% normality. It's nice. Biggest star 2022, Trish.
I went Harry Styles on the back of his #1 album and having 2 movies.
God, I tell you what, aren't you getting a stiffy over Harold's?
Yeah.
Harry
That's a really
Styles.
inappropriate thing to say, Matthew.
Okay.
Just add that to the bank.
Getting a
Yeah,
stiffy.
why would Mum get a stiffy?
Blank bank.
Yeah. Okay, Jack.
Harry Styles, brother.
Oh,
Wow.
hang on, stiffies all round.
I went Miles Teller. I thought
Oh.
anybody who's got, the young people's app, I know you guys don't have it, like TikTok and on Instagram and
I
stuff
have
like
it.
that. Okay. he was trending for about 3 months on there, just
Yeah.
just hours and hours of girls fangirling over him and guys impersonating him. So I think he's probably been the biggest winner for me.
Whiplash, what a great movie.
Great movie,
You did
Whiplash
love that,
is.
didn't you?
That's probably his best one.
War Dogs, he was good in that.
War Dogs was outstanding.
Spiderhead.
Spiderhead.
I like that.
Awful. I've gone Kenneth Branagh. I think he has been his films have been incredible. Death on the Nile, he starred and directed in. Belfast is a masterpiece.
Was that last year, Matt?
Who is that?
Belfast. Yeah, he's an old
Belfast is this year.
Irish. Are you sure?
Belfast was this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy
Advanced
that
hair.
too.
Yeah. That's a sore point. We'll take tell what we're going to do, people. We're going to say sayonara. Next week is our final podcast.
Yeah.
Until then, keep cool and keep on trucking.
Ciao, ciao.
Jesus, that's a shit outro.
That was Matt.
Well, that might be the outro there. We'll just keep that in as a sign of the disrespect that you give your sweet father, my seed.
Give